Welcome. My name's Kari Lewinson. I'm one of the special ed directors here. And I'm joined by Amber Slauson, who's my other director, but she's here as a parent because she's technically not supposed to be working. So we are enjoying. I'm enjoying seeing her again. Haven't seen her for a little bit. And Diane Heckman may join us. She is out of town visiting her, taking care of her mom, so she might pop in, or she wasn't sure. This theme is my favorite theme. This is what's going on in the summer, which I think is always on parents' mind. And so we've invited a few agencies to come talk. And with us today, we have the Sensory Tool House. We'll have Morningside, which is a job vendor. They do a lot of stuff in the summer as well. We have the Timberland Library, Thurston County, kind of DDA, DVR services. They've got some things going on in the summer. And then Hands-On Children's Museum, Lacey Parks and Recs, and Thurston County Inclusion weren't able to come, but I have information and stuff from them. So if we have time when our presenters get done, I'll take you into those spaces so you can see what else is going on in the community. It's pretty cool. So we're excited. So Raina, how about you go first since you were here first? We'll let you go first.
That sounds great. Hi, everyone. My name is Raina Cedor, and I'm a librarian at the Lacey Timberland Library and the Hawks Prairie Timberland Library. So I thought I would share the website for the Timberland Regional Library just to get started. In case you're not familiar, Timberland Regional Library is the public library in town. We cover 5 different counties with 29 different locations. So we go all the way out to the coast. Westport has one of our libraries. We go down to like White Pass, Packwood is one of our libraries. And then we have Centralia and Shelton and everywhere in between as far as public libraries go. But the local libraries here in the North Thurston community are Lacey and Hawks Prairie, and the same staff manage both of those libraries. So you'll see some of the same faces in both of those spots. You can see all of the different locations up on our homepage in the locations section. And so especially if you are traveling or going to the beach or something, you can always find one just by looking at all of the different libraries that we have available. Public libraries, of course, are tax funded, just like schools. So we are supported by property taxes that you're already paying, whether or not you actually use what the library has or not. So that's a big reason why it's important to us that y'all know what we have, so that you can take advantage of everything that we do, because there is a lot. Of course, typically the thing that people think of is library cards, getting a library card, and that'll allow you to borrow things from the library for free. We have typically most things check out for 3 weeks, and we do have a lot of books, but we have a lot of other things that you can borrow as well. You can check out a lot of different things. For example, if you go to the home page, there's a little buttons for the library of things. And these are all the kind of weird things that you can borrow that aren't DVDs or CDs or magazines or website subscriptions. We have a bunch of different backpacks that can be really awesome, especially during the summer for stargazing or going to a state park. We just debuted a new beekeeping kit that you can get from the Olympia Library. Some of these are branch specific, but a lot of these are things that you can place on hold and have transported to different locations that you can take and use wherever you want to go and check out and borrow for free. We have a bunch of outdoor exploration kits that you can borrow, passes to go into state parks you can just check out separately, plankton kits for doing science experiments, fishing rods and tackle boxes, and there's lots more where those come from. Some of the branches are starting blood pressure monitoring kits, gadget libraries. Some of them have light therapy lamps, musical instruments, even kitchen tools. So there's a lot more that we borrow and share with our communities beyond just books. But one thing that I wanted to make sure to highlight with this group is we do have an assistive devices collection that you can borrow from the libraries. We don't keep them in the buildings themselves most of the time because we usually put them in our administrative service center so they can be sent out to any branch at any moment if someone puts a hold on them. So really the best way to see what's available is to go on the library website. Feel free to ask staff. We're happy to help with this, and see our catalog of all the different kinds of devices that you can borrow. And these are especially great for if you're not sure if it's something you want to purchase, if it's something that's going to help with the needs that you have. you can look and see if, oh, maybe I can try that thing out and see if it's something that I'd like to use going forward. But there's fun stuff for, I mean, a lot of the stuff that are really useful for just lifestyle. And there's also things like an alternative controller for an Xbox that you can borrow. And typically with any of these things, you just click on what they are, and then they'll just pop up as being in the catalog. You can place a hold on them and have them delivered to whichever location is most convenient for you, and then pick it up whenever it's convenient. Usually they're held at the locations for about a week after they arrive, and you get the notification. We also have a section on our homepage for accessibility at each of our locations. If you scroll all the way down, there's a lot of useful things like how to get a job at the library and our frequently asked questions, which is really extensive. But there is a specific accessibility page that talks about accessibility in Timberland Regional Library, gives you the access to the request for accommodation form if you ever need to use that for any of the events or programs that we have coming up. It summarizes some of the general stuff that we do and highlights some of the third-party technology that we have that can be really useful, hopefully, for all of you. Of course, every summer we do our Summer Library Challenge. And so we always want to talk about that because the summer library programs in public libraries are a huge thing for school-age kids who are building their reading. They're also open to all ages these days. So everybody in Timberland can do our summer challenge. This is what the activity log looks like. I'll be taking this out to all the schools leading forward. Basically, the idea is that we want people to do things that are good for your brain. So we have a big long list of stuff you can do, which include reading books, but they could also be playing a board game or going for a hike in the woods or building a collection of some kind. There's a huge big list of options that might just give you some ideas for what to do in the summer when you're kind of flailing and getting into the bored stage of the summer. And then every time you do one of the things, you can flip it around, mark off part of the path, and when you get to the bottom, you can come back to the library for an additional prize. Because when you pick this up, when you get this from the library starting in June, you can get a free book. That's your kind of starting prize, and reading that book could be the first thing on your list. But then when you're done with the whole path, you've done 10 different activities, then you can come back to the library and get a second free book, and we'll have a huge selection of different options. You can choose any book you want off of our big prize book cart. But you also get some other rewards that are like experience rewards. We're working with the Point Defiance Zoo and Northwest Trek to give out a coupon for a free ticket to the zoo or Northwest Trek, and that one is for school-age kids primarily. We also give out a coupon for the Tacoma Rainiers. They usually have like a weekend in like around Labor Day where they have give out free tickets to summer readers in many of the different library systems around the region, where you can get a free ticket to go to one of their games. We're also working this year, this is kind of new. We used to do it way back before the pandemic, but we're going to be having free tickets to the Thurston County Fair that you can get just for completing the challenge. And this year that is going to apply to all ages. We're also working with Gabby's Olympic Cards and Comics to give out a free special thing just for teens. And so we really want the community to come to the library, think of us as a place to give a lot of different kinds of resources to do a lot of fun stuff during the summer. As far as events that we do in the summer, we're still kind of lining everything up, of course, but we are planning to continue many of the series that we've had during this school year. For example, we have 4 different early learning programs every week at the Lacey Library, 1 every week at the Hawks Prairie branch, different story times at different levels. We have a story trail that's set up at Wonderwood Park where you can go and see the pictures from a story that are posted along a little walk. This time we're featuring A Day with No Words by Tracy Hammond, which is an amazing author who came to the Sensory Tool House last fall, in September, I think it was. I also, while I was talking to this group, wanted to highlight that we're having the Heart Sparkle players come and do a playback theater production, which is like a form of improv. And that's sooner than the summer. That's happening just in April 27th from 2 to 3:30 on a Saturday. They're going to be doing a show. And Heart Sparkle Players is a group that is largely composed of various disabled actors. So it'll be a really great opportunity to kind of see how ways you can be involved in your community as an adult and all throughout your life. This is a poster for like all the examples of our early learning programs, and all of the programs that I'm talking about you can see on our event schedule on the website. We do host 2 different book clubs at the Sensory Tool House in their sensory room, which Katie might talk about a little bit later too. But we have one specifically for teens, one for kids, and they go in the sensory room and they talk about all the some different books and hang out with other kids who identify as neurodivergent. We also have a kids graphic novel club that just debuted in April. We had like 30 kids show up, and so we're planning to continue that throughout the summer, once a month on the third Thursday from 3:30 to 4:30 throughout the summer. And so that's targeting ages 8 through 12. Graphic novels are an amazing way to build your reading skills. They use different parts of your brain than books that are just words. So we really love building community and excitement and celebration around reading graphic novels and comics at the library. We also have a Lego brick builder program that we do once a month that we will be continuing through the summer. We basically just spread out a giant tarp in our big meeting room and kids can build things with Legos together, which is an awesome way to bond with other kids. We display the things that kids make in the library between each of the programs, so you can come in and see the kinds of things that people have made and enjoy all of those creations. Here's a poster for the teen neurodivergent teen book club that happens at the Sensory Tool House and is happening throughout the summer. And then we've also recently started a teen creative club here at the library that's just making art. And every month, it's kind of a different thing. That's on the 4th Fridays from 4:30 to 5:30 here at the library. And we're still, planning all of our summer stuff. So all of those things can be seen on our homepage if you go to the library website. Let's see, let's go back there. If you go up to this events section, you can do a search. We also are hosting a series of performer programs along with the city of Lacey. The Lacey in Tune is something that we host, and they will be happening every Tuesday for like 6 weeks during the summer. But this events section is where you can like narrow it down by location. If you happen to be traveling to another library, you could see what they've got going on, out in Westport if you're at the beach or something like that. I also wanted to highlight some of our collections. I know I'm running a little bit over time, but we do have a bunch of different collections beyond just books. As I mentioned earlier, we also have books that we'll read to you. This is called a box book. It's like a picture book that has a player in the front. So it has the pages of the book, but as it goes along, you can press a little button and it will say, okay, it's time to turn the page, and then keep reading. So this is a really great tool for like giving to kids in the back of the car, or to get so that they can hear the words. And it's really good for building those literacy skills so that you can hear the audio at the same time as you're practicing your reading. Most of these are going to be picture book style books, so some of the earliest readers. We also have lots of different audiobooks. We have a huge collection of online books, both ebooks that you read on your screen, and we do have that available in different fonts. The app that we use, Libby, does have dyslexic font as one of the options, so you can change like how big or small the size is, and you can use that on your phone or your tablet or your desktop computer or their computers from school. We also have audiobooks though that are handheld MP3 players. These are called playaways, and they're just little devices with an audiobook on them that you plug your own headphones into, so they're more comfortable for you, and you can listen to someone reading an audiobook. So this is really good if you're going on a road trip and everybody in the back of the car wants to listen to something different. It's not going to have access to anything but the audiobook, and it just runs off of a little like AA battery, which we provide at least initially. We also have tablets that you can check out for free from the library. These are called launch pads. We have lots of different ones for lots of different age levels. They're preloaded tablets with educational apps. Each one is about a certain topic. This one is around routines. It's part of the Life Skills Academy. And so it has things like a healthy eating and kitchen utensils. There is how to save water, how to set the table, are just some of the games and apps that it has. You don't have to worry about being charged extra. You don't have to be on Wi-Fi. These are devices that are designed to be educational, but also really fun for the kids to use, especially during the summer. Okay, I know I'm way over my time, so I think I'm going to pause there. But if anyone has any questions, I always love to talk about the library and all the fun things that we have. You can also use computers at the library. You get $44 of free printing every month with every account. And all of the children who go to North Thurston Public Schools have access to the library through the MyTRL program. So you have automatic access to the Libby app and a lot of the online websites and using the computers and printing for free without having to set up an additional account. All right.
Super cool. Thank you so much. You're fine. 10 to 15 minutes is just fine. You're awesome. So, all right. If you have questions, put them in the chat. And if we have time at the end, then we'll ask our presenters those questions. So feel free if you're curious about something. And Raina, if you'd put your just like whatever contact information you'd like people to utilize if they have questions in the chat, that'd be perfect. All right, Sensory Tool House. Your turn.
Excellent. Thank you, Kari. And we have such an amazing library resource here. I'm just always in awe. Every time I hear, I learn more. So I don't know how that's possible. I'm Katie. I am with Sensory Tool House here in Lacey. I'll go ahead and share my screen. I know how to do this, right? Yeah, share content. There we go. It's been a day of technology, so it's been very interesting. So Sensory Tool House, we are actually a retail store in Lacey over by the post office, the Lacey post office where Cutter's Point is. We have Super Fades and the Super Cleaners. So there are super neighbors. We're kind of in between them, but we're really more than a retail store, and I'll go into that. But is it not going to, oh, it doesn't allow me to do the PowerPoint. What is happening? I am sorry. It's not letting me move forward on the PowerPoint. Oh, there it goes. So our mission at Sensory Tool House really is to provide a neurodiversity affirming environment. And what we are is a try before you buy store where you can come in and try sensory supportive equipment and tools and toys, really in an environment where it's safe and inclusive for all. And it really covers all ages. So we have everything from, young children, infants, to seniors who may be navigating dementia, and it's really a space for everybody. But what's nice is if you are trying something, maybe borrowing it from the library, want to see if it works for you, that's a great way to try things before you buy. We may be able to get that for you, or if they don't offer that, you can always come in because everything works differently for everybody. So you can actually come in, feel it, try it, test it. The only thing is oral motor chews. Obviously, we can't test those out, but we have a lot of them, but you can feel them, see what the strength is, and see what might work best for you. And so we also have a sensory room in the store where you can come in and kind of regulate before you go. We have a swing area where you can test out the swings. Our staff is mostly neurodivergent and or disabled. Everybody has lived experience and is very open to supporting any accessibility needs. We have an adult changing table, which is really difficult. I know when we go out into community and we have an adult or an older child that may need an adult changing table, we do have one there. And if you are out in community and you just need one, you're always welcome just to come by and use it. That is something that we offer, and you don't need to buy something. Just please come and use it if that makes life easier. So really more than a retail experience, we do contract with Washington State DDA, and if we really work to keep that working with your case manager. But if you come in and you can look at the things and see what is there, if it's being recommended to you, and then work with your case manager on that, and then they will work with our DDA staff who navigate that. We also host events in the store and out in the community, and we have a pretty significant online resources page. So did that resources page pop up when I clicked it? Can everybody see that? No? Okay. If you go to our website,
now we see it.
Oh, now you see it. Okay, so it's right here. So if you go to our website, the resources page has a lot of like support and advocate organizations out there, everything from Lewis County Autism Coalition to Southtown Parent to Parent. child find. Really, it goes on and on. Different recreational activities in the area, and it continues. Financial support. So you're going to be able to find a lot of different information there. We don't, when it comes to psychologists and speech therapists, things like that, we don't support anyone over anyone else. We just want to make sure that you have the information out there. And then different education. So we really have a lot of different information out here, and you can go on there and see if there's anything there that will help support you in what you do. A lot of our community partners are on here for different places that we know do sensory supportive events. And then, like I said, our staff is very knowledgeable, and they're very highly educated. Most of our staff have degrees in education or counseling. I mean, you name it. They're very highly educated and have a lot of lived experience. So we also do sensory room consulting and design. We go into homes, schools, businesses, and do a lot of different sensory rooms, and even in just small, library nook areas, we've done them. So it's very, when you think sensory rooms, some people think very large spaces, and they can be small spaces as well. We also have a training and consulting side to it, and we've developed a little in moving it out of Sensory Tool House. We have a sister company or sibling company, Equiac, and this is where we do educator training and in-service. We also do workforce and professional development along with employer consulting services. So we go into schools, we go into businesses and state organizations, a lot of different places, and work with everyone on how to have a neurodivergent workforce and how to use the range of talents that are there. And so this really helps as we do workforce development, as our kiddos move out into the workplace. There are a lot of skills there, and there's a lot of people that are unemployed because employers do not know how to tap into that market of very talented workers. So we also do a lot of that. And then we do a lot of sensory recovery areas. Those are really what we call our sensory rooms, but these are tailored to events. And we create custom spaces where people can rest and kind of regulate themselves and then rejoin an event. And you will see us out in a lot of events over the summer and throughout the year. And we'll talk a little bit about that, but it's kind of like a pop-up sensory room. So in community coming up here, this was one that we did at the mall, and we have that coming up again. So our first one, it's not really this summer, but I wanted to highlight this. This is the Healthy Kids Day at Briggs Community YMCA. This is April 20th. It's a free event to the community. And I know as a parent myself, it was always very difficult and felt very overwhelming to bring my kiddos out into community, especially when they became dysregulated. This is an event where there will be a sensory recovery area where you can, when you yourself starts to become a little overwhelmed and dysregulated, or somebody that you were with they can go to the sensory recovery area, kind of regulate and rest a little bit, and then rejoin the activity so that you're not having to leave early, that you can stay and really enjoy the event and participate as everyone else. So it provides a lot of accessibility to all of us in community. Lacey Spring Fun Fair is coming up. That is another one. We will be there. We are very lucky to have Lacey, the city of Lacey is putting sensory recovery areas in their large events, and we do very large sensory recovery areas there. There's a swing, there's soft seating. There's a lot of things in there to help yourself regulate. And when we talk about these areas, some people feel uncomfortable if they're stimming or their child is stimming, going in there, whether it's vocal stims, physical stims, whatever that might be. That is okay. That's why we're there. It doesn't bother us, and that's what we're there for. So please know that is exactly why we're there, and you're not bothering anyone, and there is no apology for being who you are. So please utilize these spaces and enjoy the events, and you know, we're trying to make them more accessible for all of us. There is also, I know at Lacey Spring Fun Fair, the city of Lacey has sensory kits that we will have at the sensory recovery areas that you can borrow. They're kind of borrow sensory kits, and they will have noise reducing headphones, some fidgets in there, some different things to help regulate after you leave the sensory recovery area, or pick them up beforehand, go enjoy the event, maybe come back, regulate, go out, enjoy the event some more, and then return the sensory bag when you're done. So there's a lot of accessibility in this event now. And then there is a cool event coming up on June 1st to 2nd. It's Tabletop Weekend. If anyone really enjoys tabletop games, it is at the Capitol Mall. We were there last year. We are turning an entire storefront into a sensory recovery area. It is pretty amazing. So if going to the mall is overwhelming, for me, it's overwhelming for a lot. This is a pretty big event, but it is also, when we were there, anyone who is visiting the mall can use that sensory recovery area during that time. So if there's some shopping you want to do, or you want to test out just going to the mall with your kiddos, this might be a good weekend to do it, because we do have that sensory recovery area there, that quiet space to kind of regulate and reset. So we will be there during that time. And then you'll see us out in community, and you'll see us in the schools. We work with Meadows a lot, but we've also been in a lot of the other schools, working with different elementary schools. And then other partnerships that we have out in community, we do Hands On Children's Museum has come into our store, but we also now are going to Hands On Children's Museum periodically to support their sensory times. They have a sensory time on Sundays, which is wonderful. And sometimes you will see us there during different events. So definitely Hands On Children's Museum. The Thurston County Chamber does digital literacy. It is on hold right now, but for anyone who needs extra support in learning about computers, online resources, things like that, this is a free community resource when they start it back up again, and our employees help to teach that class. And so look for that, and it's great for anyone. They'll do it at the senior center, they do it at libraries. I think they were doing it at Timberland Regional Library, a lot of different places. And then Lewis County Autism Coalition, I know that's a little bit further away, but they do have a lot of events that go on, and they do have a disability job fair coming up. So if anyone needs something like that, that is a resource that's coming up. Partnerships, Yelm Cinemas does do sensory showings, so check out their website. They do that. Pioneer Farm Museum, OHOP Indian Village. I know a lot of kiddos go on field trips there. We're doing sensory support bags for them to have. So if you do go on a field trip there with your kiddo, or you go to visit Pioneer Farms, they will have sensory support bags to use, which will have the noise canceling headphones, different fidgets, things like that. And then we've been to a few daycares for what you might want to call field trips, but we're going there. So you may see us at different daycares where we're going in and teaching the kiddos about sensory systems and doing sensory projects with them. So you may see us out there doing that as well. In-store events, this is the author of A Day with No Words, like we talked about, Rita talked about, was in store and did a reading for us, which was absolutely wonderful. So definitely go check out that. What was it called? At the park, where you go through and read the story. It's an excellent book. Timberland Regional Library, Neurodivergent Teen Book Club, first Wednesday of the month, and the Kids Book Club is second Saturday of the month. You do need to sign up for it. There is limited availability. I think there's only a couple spots left for the next month, and you do sign up on the Timberland Regional website. So like here, there's I think they were saying there was just a couple of spots left. 4 seats were left for the teen one, and I think there were 3 left for the next kids book club. So that's coming. It's a lot of fun. They sit in the room, they read the book. It's always a great book. And they have kind of access to a lot of tools and support equipment that's there, and amazing staff from the library. Adaptathon. We just did this. So what Adaptathon is a event where the North Thurston High School and Olympia High School robotics teams come together at Lacey Makerspace, and they take tools or toys, and they've done lamps, they've done all sorts of equipment, and they adapt them to switch buttons. It is a free event. What people do is drop off whatever device they need adapted to Sensory Toolhouse, and then we spend a weekend at Lacey Makerspace adapting these so that they are accessible for those who don't have the motor skills to use toys otherwise. They did a remote control car where it had 2 buttons, and they could actually manipulate the remote control car with the 2 buttons back and forth. It was absolutely amazing. So definitely, if this is something that you need or you know somebody who needs it, we are doing another one this fall, and keep your eye out for it. And there are always new events listed on our event calendar on our website. Please come in and visit us, even just to explore and kind of see what's going on. We're open Tuesday through Sunday, and our website, I'll kind of show you the event calendar on our website is here. And so we always have where the inclusive career fair that we're doing. We have the book clubs coming up, the recovery areas. So we do put even kind of what we're doing out in community on here. So you'll be able to see really even what's going on in the community. And the links are also always there. Different information about, our DDA, DSHS contracting, sensory room design, if you are ever interested in any of that. And then just more information about us and who we are. There is also, if you need it, a social story on what it's like to visit Sensory Toolhouse. So that can always be really helpful. And just lots of information. And we also know that it can be really difficult to get out of the car and come in. So you can always call us and we'll bring things out to you. So there's a lot going on all the time. But I'm sure I missed some things, but that's who we are.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Morningside.
Hello.
Hi. Do you have the PowerPoint, or do I need to share my screen?
I have the PowerPoint.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Okay, so I'm with Morningside, which is a supportive employment provider. Specifically, the department that I'm here to talk about is our PRES department, otherwise known as Pre-Employment Transition Services. They're for a specific subsect of human. There are some basic requirements. Everything we do is in partnership with DVR. Mr. Ben Strong is our local RTC rep and partner for this program, and he is awesome. Our program works with students, so anybody who is enrolled in any type of education program from 14 all the way through their 21st year. They have to have an IEP, a 504, or a documented disability. If they meet those requirements, they're welcome to participate in our program. Specifically, what we have going on this summer, we do workshops year-round, but we're going to also have specific series that we do during the summer at Morningside. So we host them at our office on Legion. Workshops are always kind of one of 2 different categories. They're either going to be related to getting ready for work readiness. We work on the soft skills, things like communication and teamwork. And then we also do series on money management and self-advocacy, and making sure that our students go into the workplace empowered to ask for accommodations when and where they need them. We also host job tours out in the community. This is one of my favorite things to do with our students, is to take them out and actually get them in the environment and exploring the idea of what might work for them for work. Um, I like to tell students that if I had gone on a job tour of my first job at Arby's, there is no way that I would have actually taken that job. Um, had I seen that I had to, touch the meat, even though I was in, the drive-through, I would have known that that was not the job for me. By actually getting in the environment, they see everything that works for them and the things that don't. And all of that is very powerful and really helpful in getting them to a place where they find work. We get to also meet a lot of bosses, and it's a great way to connect with people that we know are supportive employers in our area. If a student comes on a job tour, let's say they came with us to a Safeway and thought, hey, that produce position, that sounds pretty cool. I think that I like that. They could then go back and do what we call a job shadow, which is where they spend part of the day with the person doing the job that they think would be interested, not just any of the jobs in the store, but a specific position. This gives a very real minute-to-minute look at what that job actually is and really can solidify whether or not it's something that a student is interested in doing. And then we do informational interviews. I like to say they're a way of doing a reverse interview where the student and us come up with a list of questions and we connect them with a business partner in the community that can answer them. So the student interviews the business owner. This can be, a lot of times this comes in handy if the career that they're interested in has to follow a specific learning path or have any type of prerequisites or certifications for. It can really help connect them to mentorships, which is a really beautiful thing too. Our favorite thing, I think, to do and ultimately to be able to offer is paid internships. These look like a minimum of 40-hour agreement, and they can last up to 120 hours. So the students do have to be 16 to participate because that's the age of hiring in Washington, but anyone over 16. And of course, internships are all very, very specific to the student. We don't do group placements. We do individualized placements where we work with the student to identify where would work for them in the sense of an internship. And then we make sure that they know what to expect from it. We're going to work to set their schedule, set expectations around dress codes and hygiene standards, and really get a lot of that unspoken rules of the workplace worked out through the course of the internship. I have seen my students grow so tremendously in an internship that it just really blows my mind. I had a student who went from obviously being overwhelmed and having a really difficult time vocalizing to independently greeting a customer, asking them how they could help, and then following through with providing that help. And it's some of my best experiences in this position have been on these internships. It also gives students, obviously, that experience on a resume and connects them with reference opportunities. This summer, we're also going to be doing 2 different 1-week career academies. We're still working on booking the location. We think it's likely going to be at Evergreen this year. And we'll be doing a Monday through Friday in July and a Monday through Friday in August, 10 to 3 every day. We ask for a full week attendance commitment. There's no cost associated to the student. One of these work series is going to be based on work readiness, and the other will be our money management series. During the course of the week, we're going to go on 2 to 3 job tours of local businesses. And then we're going to make sure that our students leave this with a current resume and interview practice skills. And then, of course, I am known for liking to play games, and so there's plenty of that built in to the weeks as well. This is mine and my regional manager's contacts. I'll go ahead and put them in the chat too, so you guys have them. And yeah, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much. I always learn so much from everyone. I put some links to some different places where you might get some additional ideas for what to do this summer. Unfortunately, some of those the presenters that we had last year weren't able to come this year. I'm going to find their presentations and add them in. So at least you have the main information from last year. I don't see my presenters for Thurston County kind of developmental disabilities here. They were hoping to have someone here, but it looks like they weren't able to make it. So I'll get their information in. But I did want to share Hands On Children's Museum. Let's see here. Wanted me to say that, let's see. Sorry, I'm on one computer screen. I'm so used to doing this on like 3. So, all right. So on Sundays, the first hour of the museum operations from 9 to 10 are open exclusively for families of children with sensory activities or special needs only. So that's on Sunday from 9 to 10. Our second floor has a classroom that becomes a dedicated sensory-friendly space on most weekends during the summer. So that's good to know. The sensory-friendly room on Saturdays from 1 to 4 and Sundays from 10 to 4. And I'll put these in the chat so you can see them. And then they have an art time on Sundays from 10 to 12. So those were some events the Hands On Children's Museum wanted me to share and highlight for you all. And since we're a small group, if you've got questions, you can unmute and ask our presenters your questions.
I had a really quick question, kind of going back to the Sensory Tool House. The Neurodivergent Kid Book Club. Do you know, is there an age on that, like a minimum age for that book club?
Raina, I'm going to defer that to you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I almost jumped in before you did. Usually that one's gonna be like 8 to 12. The 2 different book clubs that the library partners with the Sensory Tool House to offer there kind of overlap in age groups. So like middle school is usually kind of in the middle and could go to either depending on whether the time and date and the book that they're reading that month appeals to the kid. The teen book club is on Wednesdays at like 6 to 7, and the kids book club is on Saturdays in the morning. So a lot of that can determine which one of those go. But usually, like as far as like the youngest age is usually like 8 or 9 kind of thing, upper elementary usually.
And that too, I would say, is every kiddo develops a little bit differently. So, if you have a kiddo that's, 7 is really reading at an 8, 9-year-old level and is at that space, that works. Or if you have a teen that maybe would work better in the kids one, that's okay too.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Any other questions or comments? I was telling one of my friends I wish I had grandkids now so I could go to the library with them, but I'm not in any hurry. So my girls can stay kid free for a little while longer. But there's so much cool stuff.
Are there any day camps for kids that are nonverbal that anybody's aware of?
I know that there was one and it is completely full. It filled up within a day with South Sound Parent to Parent. The Thurston County Inclusion, check with them. They will be pushing some things out for summer, and they will be doing day camps. So definitely look at Thurston County Inclusion. That would be the place I would go and look at.
Thank
I
you.
know that they did that last year. You're welcome.
Yeah, and I put the link for them in the chat, so that Thurston County Inclusion, so you can hop on there and check out all their activities. And then, like I said, I'll find her presentation from last year and also include it when we send out the recording and the information to our families. So at least you'll have sort of what they were doing last year, which will give you an idea of what they will probably be doing this year again.
Yeah, one
I
of the
do
nice
know.
things
Oh,
about
go ahead.
Yeah, one of the nice things about Thurston County Inclusion is that their registration isn't even until May. So it's not like the race that most people go through in March and April. Like it's going to be a little bit later. So you're not late on that yet, for sure.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we moved this presentation to now, so that people could jump into things, because everything seems to be sort of opening up like right now in May. And when we tried to do this back in February, like, well, I think we're going to be doing this, and this is what we're kind of planning on doing. So
It can get really frustrating because I think there's not enough resources and things
Yeah.
start opening up earlier and earlier. And when they do, it gets full and it can be very frustrating. So thank you for providing this opportunity to talk about all the things.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. Any other questions or comments? Well, we so appreciate your time and joining us, and we will get this information sent out to our families, so they have the links, and hopefully before you leave, grab the links on your computer so you've got them, so you can check all that great stuff out. I also know the YMCA is very, very friendly. Our students use that resource a lot, especially our high schools, to learn recreation and independence. So they're another great resource as well.
Thank you so much for putting this on. This was very helpful. I really, really appreciate it.
You are so welcome. If you have questions, feel free to email. We can always sort of, check around and see if we can find an answer for you if you're running into roadblocks or have a question. So we're happy to put people in contact with the right resources.
And if you know of something, let us know. We'll put it on our resources page. Like,
No doubt.
more information we
No
can get
doubt.
out. So thank you everyone very much.
For sure. Enjoy your evening. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks
You
for
too.
having
Thank
me.
you.